What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fandom Talk. We are here back with you guys today with some hot topics. We're back this week. We got the whole crew on the line. I'm going to start off with my man, Kevin Garlington. Been gone for a minute. What's going on, Kev?
Hey, what's up, man? Back in the saddle, ready to do this.
All right. Now, I also got my man from B Terrible Productions, Jeremy Branch. What's going on, Jeremy?
What is up, everybody? Malcolm, I was wondering if you've been feeling a little extra weight or pressure on your back since I started riding your coattails. I wanted to say congrats, man. You guys are killing it over on YouTube, and I'm just glad to be a part of it, man. It's great to see the progress.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We're just moving forward and continuing to grind each and every single day, and we're just loving the progress, loving the connections, loving all of the conventions that we work with, no matter where they are or where they come from. So we're going to jump on some topics this week. But we got a main topic, but we're going to jump on some of the news that came out, and it's kind of DC-centric, and it's kind of aggravating, and oh, boy, here we go again. So news came out that DC, Warner Brothers, they're going to be doing a Joker origin movie that's going to be directed by Martin Scorsese. That's the only good news out of that. And it's going to have a different actor, and it's not going to be connected to the DCEU. The first question is why? Why is this needed? What importance does this make, especially if it's not connected to the DCEU? I keep saying I was riding with DC. I'm going to still ride with them because I hadn't seen Justice League yet because they've been turning the tables. They've been doing stuff a little bit more differently. But why is this needed? What's the purpose? Is it that they came out and people started seeing them for who they were, and they were like, oh, okay, people like us. Let's do this. You know, that's what they did before, and it's starting to have that familiar smell in the air of just finagling around and just doing stuff for no reason. I'm going to start with you, Kev. What do you think about this news?
All right, well, let me back up because Martin Scorsese is producing this film.
Correct.
He hasn't been listed quite yet as a director. So let's back up. Now, I'm gonna get everybody to think back to Batman 1989. Okay. For part of that film, we see Jack Napier, which is the Joker in that film. We see his origin story as a mobster. If you've seen The Departed or any number of Martin Scorsese films, if they go that route with the whole gangster that falls in Nevada acid that's rising the crime ladder in Gotham, and Scorsese is producing it, it could be pretty cool. Now, it's going to be outside the realm of kind of what DC does, and it'll be something different. But I'm going to say this. All that aside, I don't want to see a Joker origin. The beauty of that character is we don't know really where he comes from. He gives you several origin stories in the comics, but he's so insane you can't believe a word of what he's saying. That's why, in The Dark Knight, he gives 3 different stories about how he got his scars. He is so out of his mind, we don't know where he comes from. And I think that if you start to, go ahead and try to flesh out that backstory, I think you kind of ruining part of the character, to be honest with you. Now, will they deliver a great movie? If Martin Scorsese is going to produce it and it's in the vein of The Departed or something like that, yeah, this film will be a great gangster flick. But you can make a great gangster flick and not put the Joker in there, and I'll be fine.
Sure,
so
right.
It makes me wonder, and this goes to Malcolm's point that we always talk about, it makes me wonder what the hell is wrong with DC over there. What are they doing? You put out the first $800 million origin story. This Wonder Woman has broken all these records. You're on the right path. Just continue on what you're doing and don't try to stray off, because there's some other news that we have to get to about DC. Malcolm, you sent the docket out, but there was something else, and you were right. There was one piece we left off, but I'll get to that. I don't want to muddy this story with that. So I'll pass it to Jeremy and see what he thinks, because I know he's, a Scorsese fan like I am.
Huge Scorsese fan. Huge Scorsese fan, and I'm glad you took that stance. Either stance you took, I just kind of wanted to propose the other side of it, because truthfully, I agree with you. I mean, I do think that that's the conventional wisdom. when Martin Scorsese's name got attached to it, it automatically bumps up the credibility because, like you said, he's made some of the greatest gangster films of all time. Goodfellas and Departed are in my top 10 favorite movies. I absolutely love this guy's stuff. He understands that world. He understands the dialogue. He's got great characters and so many things that are admirable. But he's not directing the movie. Hangover guy, Todd Phillips, is directing the movie. Now, Todd Phillips did War Dogs. I haven't seen it, but I think it's kind of got that crime lord edge to it. Did either of you guys see that?
I have not seen that yet.
So it's got Jonah Hill and Miles Teller in it, and I hear it's better than you'd expect it to be. You know what I mean? And I like the first Hangover movie. I mean, I thought it was good. It was funny, but it was so tonally different. So, okay, I also heard that this origin story is going to take place in the 1980s. For the sake of the fact that I know what podcast I'm on and I got to respect my people over here, what the F were they thinking? How many more 1980s set movies? It's hot right now, but what happens in 5 years when people are like, I am sick of seeing these 1980s nostalgia porn movies, you know?
Right.
Granted, that is when Martin Scorsese shined. I mean, that's, you know, the 80s and 90s. Well, really, yeah, the 80s through the 90s is when he was kind of top of his game, I would say. Not that he's not made tons of great movies, but that was when everybody really started paying attention. Like, this is one of the top-tier directors of all time. But I feel like there's so many things about it that feel like they're casting as wide a net as possible and hoping to pull in something, you know. And, you know, and Kevin, when you said that we don't need a Joker origin story, we don't. That destroys the enigma that the Joker is. I mean, there is the possibility that it could be more like a Joker year one kind of thing, and as opposed to him being like us learning about him as a kid and where he went to school and all that, it's just like he has just become the clown prince of crime or whatever, and we're seeing him build an empire. That could be dope. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind seeing that movie. But at the same time, there's this whole concept of brand confusion. Like, we're savvy. We'll understand that it's not connected. I literally what I'm thinking is that both of these different cinematic universes are market research. Whichever of the two does the best, that's what they're going to push forward with. And I don't know if the Flashpoint is even going to be the catalyst of that. I don't know if they're going to retcon Batman, but I literally, when I was waiting to talk to you guys, a statement was just now released that Matt Reeves said Batman is still very much a part of the DCEU. So we know that part isn't changing. And then it's like the Venom thing. Do we want a Joker movie without Batman? So there's a lot of questions, guys. I mean, I want to see a little bit more before I condemn it, but I just kind of wanted to, you know, present both sides of the argument. There are some good and some negative sides to it, but I'm confused. What do you think about it, Malcolm?
The thing that throws me off is when they came out and said, oh, this is an alternate universe.
Right.
The question, and then we can have other people play the iconic characters. So that means we're going to have a new Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, Flash. I mean, is that what we're going to have? Or does Flashpoint play a role in this? But the question is still out there. Why? Yeah, we can have a Joker year one, but why? How is it going to impact the DCEU? As far as to call an alternate universe, if you want to start building alternate universes, let Flashpoint do it. Don't go make a separate movie. Let those alternate universes exist.
Is this a way to squash out everybody's negative feelings on Jared Leto, do you think?
You can't say that because he's going to be in Suicide Squad too.
Right.
And that's the other hiccup. You still got a Joker cast for Suicide Squad 2, and you're doing a Joker origin story that has nothing to do with the Joker that we were just introduced to for this universe.
So let me tell you guys what I think they're doing. They are trying to emulate what they do with their animated films. If you look across the gambit in the DCEU animated universe or whatever, they have different voice actors that come in. Sometimes it's Kevin Conroy's Batman. Sometimes it's not. They jump and they do this and they do that or whatever. And it seems like some of the projects that they have planned may be trying to follow that whole thing, like Justice League Dark, this film. You know, the rumor was going around, and Jeremy, you just talked about what I was saying earlier, was, you know, the fact that the Batman movie wasn't going to be in the DCEU. Now, they just come out and said that's not true. But I think they're kind of taking the page out of their animated book and saying, hey, fans can keep up if we give them something cool. They just won't care. They just want to see a Joker origin story. I actually agree with the sentiment saying, hey, we can keep up. But this ain't the guy you want to do that for. That's all I'm saying, you know, and I agree with both you guys, you know.
And that's an interesting take on it, though. I mean, I agree with that and what you're saying, and I even heard people mention the fact that, you know, there's several different runs about Batman running consecutively, and people don't have a lot of confusion about that. You know, there's your main storyline, your main, you know, Batman title, and it's got up to, you know, 7,000 or however many there's been. But then you've got the new detective or all these different little sub storylines. I probably sound like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Point is, there are multiple stories, including characters that we're all very familiar with. So I could see that being a thing. That's just a really good topic, Malcolm. It is a strange thing that I haven't been able to wrap my head around yet.
Yeah, we don't. None of us know, man. We just, you know, Malcolm, you're right to bring this up because you know, on this show we do this every 3 months. If you guys haven't been paying attention, every 3 months, DC or Warner Brothers makes an announcement where we all sitting here like, guys, do y'all know what's going on? Because I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This happens entirely too often, man. You know,
yeah.
So that's just what it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack the show, Malcolm. Sorry, man.
You good, man. You good. That's what we're here for. We're here to break the news to the people. We're here to hijack them. We're here to hijack their minds. But
yeah,
the next thing on the list is something that Jeremy alluded to, and I'm gonna let him go ahead and run with it. Apparently, that the Batman movies are not in the DCEU. But Jeremy, you're saying that something just came out that said that's going back the other way. Like, we'll go again.
Yeah.
Confusion.
So a couple of months ago, Matt Reeves had made a statement. What I got out of the statement is that he wanted to make a Batman movie that kind of stood on its own. It's not so much that it didn't exist inside that universe. It's just that I don't think he wanted to be bogged down by that universe. Well, sorry about that. Well, with everything going on right now, people are hitting him up on Twitter and everything else and saying, like, hey, what's going on? Are you a part of this new Joker thing? Is Batman really not going to be in the DC cinematic universe or this movie? And are they going to recast Ben Affleck? And it looks like, well, I guess it was 2 hours ago, and he says, of course, Batman is going to be a part of this cinematic universe. Let's see if I got a good quote in here. Okay, yeah, he says, just to be clear, of course Batman will be a part of the DC universe. Batman will be Batman. And my comments from a while back about not being a part of the DCEU, I was talking about the Batman being a story specifically about Batman, not about the others in the universe, that it wouldn't be filled with cameos, servicing other stories, and that it would be a Batman story. I like that concept. You know, that's one thing I always thought. It's really hard to do these balancing acts, and it's really hard to put Batman into this pantheon of godlike characters. And I think both of you guys can probably agree that what makes Batman so appealing is his conflict and his struggle, and that he does have a darkness in him where Superman, you know, he's great. He's got every power in the world. He's a Boy Scout, and people really like that and need that. But in today's world, I feel like Batman is a truer representation of what it would be to be a superhero. I like the way they play with his emotional baggage and all of those kind of things. I want to see him be more of a detective and all the things. We've heard it before and we've discussed it, and a lot of the podcasts I see, they talk about it, but we haven't ever seen that Batman where he's deducing and figuring out crimes on his own and not just rolling with, the Flash let's be honest, the Flash could fly Batman at such a high speed that it would just melt him. Wonder Woman's a god, so Batman would just get murked by her. Aquaman could drown him, he'd just bring the whole ocean tides up. And for whatever reason, Superman did not just rip him in half and Batman v Superman, other than he's a nice guy. So as much as I love Batman, as much as Batman is my favorite character from the DCEU, I've never understood how he was able to hang with those people. And when he's like, my superpower is being rich, it's like, that's not the same as being able to fly, dude. So,
Right.
So I'm glad, though. I'm glad to see that Matt Reeves is coming out and making a statement about that, because I think a lot of people were going to start fueling that rumor mill. So I kind of just wanted to know what you guys, did you think that he was going to be on his own? Did you hear those Matt Reeves comments, and kind of what were your thoughts on it?
I'll jump in there real quick. So I never thought that, from the vibe I got from Matt Reeves from the beginning, when he threw out Ben Affleck's script, Ben Affleck, Chris Terrio, and Jeff Johns came together on that script, and he threw it out and said, no, we're not shooting that. It let me know that he had something else in mind. But I never thought a Batman movie was going to be full of those crazy cameos, because the moment you start bringing Superman and Wonder Woman, the cameo in these films, and they're trying to help Batman what he's got going on, you cheapen Batman. Now, one
That's
thread with Batman,
point.
if you read any Justice League comic book or whatever, Batman is keeping secrets. And just like Malcolm said a few weeks ago about Nick Fury, like his secrets got secrets. You know what I mean? Yeah. Batman's kind of the same way. So he's not going to let you help him go get the Joker or do whatever in Gotham. Gotham is his city. You're not going to see a whole lot of Wonder Woman and Superman coming night stalking, doing what he's got to do. Number one, those are heroes that primarily fight in the daytime, or they're willing to go out in the daytime. When that sun goes down, that's Batman's territory. So that's your first thing right there. The second thing is, I think Matt Reeves was right to try to make a distinction between what he was going to do, because no Batman film up until this point has really served any type of DCEU. It hasn't really existed in a universe. It was, we're going to see the new Christopher Nolan Batman film, or we're going to see the Joel Schumacher Batman film. It wasn't, this movie's connected to a much larger universe.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You didn't get very many Easter eggs or anything else. So there was a need to make the comments. I think Matt Reeves messed up where he didn't realize who he was talking to. Our audience and the people, us nerds and the people that follow this stuff, if you don't tell us exactly what it is you're trying to do, we will fill in the blanks for you. And now you got to backpedal and make a statement. Well, my buddy Malcolm Banks has always said that DC and Warner Brothers have a problem with their PR department. And I back him up 100% on that. We see more backpedaling and more statements and more things that have to be released to clean up what they said, as opposed to coming out, having a strong, unified front and making great announcements and being able to articulate what it is you're trying to do, with your audience. And that's one of their major problems right there. One of their major problems. They don't know how to release something, make a statement or whatever. They have all these auteur directors that want to come around, and that's great. But they have to take these directors and let them speak to the audience in a way that we all understand.
Yeah.
Or don't have them speak at all. Find one person that's the head of whatever there and let that person make the announcements. Let the directors be directors. So that's my
Where do you weigh in on this, Malcolm?
My thing is, I just want some type of assuredness from DC. Like Kevin said, we talk about this about every 3 months. It's like they get up after Wonder Woman. It's like they were smooth sailing. They went smooth sailing right on.
You guys are being generous. Y'all say every 3 months. I say every 3 weeks, but whatever.
You know, it was smooth sailing after Wonder Woman. You know, we felt comfortable about DC after Wonder Woman, and we went into Comic-Con like, okay, yes, you know, great news. We got good movies coming. You got a standard schedule, and then this. Right. You know, good. The only good thing I have out of DC right now is that we have not heard anything negative about Aquaman.
Right.
Nothing negative coming from the Aquaman camp. You know, not saying that there won't be, but I'm glad that we haven't, which shows me that Aquaman is going to be that impact movie just as Wonder Woman was. So I'm definitely excited about that. But, you know, Batman in, Batman out, Batman in, Batman out. I'm just scrapping all. Give me a Batman Beyond movie, okay? Just Flashpoint just need to come in and just get rid of everything and put some stuff into perspective in order for them to at least move in some type of forward direction. Kevin, earlier you said there was another topic that you want to bring up. You got it?
So Jeremy brought it up. That was the one. It was about
that was it.
Matt
Okay.
Reeves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
so the fact that
while
he was
I
able
still
to
got
clear
the floor for 1 second, can I ask y'all both one question, real quick, one-word answer? Who's the villain in the solo Batman movie? Go. That's a tough one, right?
I plead the fifth.
I'm gonna go with the Red Hood. I'm gonna go with that. It's either gonna be Deathstroke or the Red Hood, man.
That's a good call. Malcolm, if you could put anybody in there other than the Joker, who would it be?
Rich Agul.
Good call. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, all three good answers, you guys. Just had to ask real quick. Just wanted to put that out there, but cool.
No, that's great. That's great. Good question, man.
Most definitely. Now, before we jump on to our main topic of the day, there was a question that was posed, and it was basically, do you think the MCU will be relevant after Infinity War? We've been hearing about this as the culmination of everything, about how everything is going to pull together, and, you know, this is going to be the end of the storyline. And shout out to my man Paul, Mr. Thanos' husband. This was a great question that he posed to me. So I want to shout out to him. Will they be relevant? What's going to happen? Will DC make a run? You know, with the hype of everybody getting hyped up for seeing Thanos. So, real quick, do you guys, yes or no, I know you're going to elaborate, but do you think the MCU will be relevant after the culmination of all of these events? I'm going to say yes, because they have a set plan, and I can trust their plan, and I can trust what they're saying they're going to do. So just be off the rip, because of what I've seen these 10 years, what they have done in these 10 years, good and bad, they have always had a plan no matter what. So I'm going to say yes, they're still going to be relevant.
God, that's a tricky question, you guys. I like your answer, Malcolm, and we haven't seen the kind of diminishing returns on these properties to let me say, like, man, the public is losing interest in Marvel movies. They all consistently do just fine. We got Thor Ragnarok coming up in, September, November, and I'm so ecstatic about that movie, but the thing that I have honestly questioned is, like, you can't go up from Thanos. Well, maybe you can. I don't know. Is Galactus more powerful than Thanos?
Yeah, but they don't have Galactus.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that's my thing is, like, once you hit the top of the mountain, do they really have any options left? So, I mean, I would like to say no, that they'll do just fine. And I don't want to bury the lead on something that we'll be talking about in a little bit, but I feel like the love affair with everything Marvel-related might be dwindling down a little bit, because there was a recent title that was released that it might have just come a little too late in the game, and I wasn't, ecstatic about it. I wasn't super hyped up about it. So it's hard to say, man, but Spider-Man was incredible. Everything we see coming up is incredible. But, hey, if they end up fighting Thanos for 2 movies and the last one sucks, that could change everything. And DC could very well have a run at that point. But that's a tough question.
But Kevin, before you say something, I want my point of how I think they will continue to thrive. Squirrel invasion. That's
okay.
It right there.
Sure.
You could Squirrel invasion through all the rest of these, not through the rest of these movies as they continue to go on, but Captain Marvel is really going to set that tone, and I feel like that's going to be the next step that they move towards to is dealing with the squirrels in the MCU. But go ahead, Kevin.
So I want to make sure I understand what the basic question that Paul asked was that, hey, after Thanos comes, will the MCU still be relevant? Was that the question? I want to make sure I got it.
Right,
okay.
Because basically saying, everything is coming to a head, everything is coming to an end, just like they continue to say this is the culmination of this, culmination of that. Like the Russos keep saying, will it still be relevant?
I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna tell you why. When about 4 months ago, when Marvel announced that James Gunn was going to be in a producer type role over the Marvel kind of galaxy films, if you will, and the fact that his color tone and palette has set the tone for what the MCU galaxy or MCU intergalactic, scenes look like, if you will, you have to go back and look at this right here. And I'm going to use some lines from the movies to kind of tell you where they're going. In Age of Ultron, Vision tells you, I think it was Age of Ultron, it may have been Civil War. Anyway, he tells you, hey, because you guys got more powerful, your foes are going to get more powerful pretty much.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the universe and you look at the MCU, they've really been they've been spoon feeding us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to remember, those powerful people and entities have been existing in that world since the beginning. We're just now on Earth getting to know them and getting to see them. But you remember in the first Guardians, they showed you Celestials land on a planet and destroy everybody. We just saw Ego, the living planet, who is a older than time Celestial, just show up. You saw
hold up. Let me railroad you real quick. Kevin, if you put one of those Celestials, because I know what you're talking about, if you put one of those dudes up against Thanos, who would win? Thanos with no glove, who would win out of the two of them?
The Celestials.
Okay. I was curious about that, so go ahead. Sorry.
No. All I'm getting at is that while Thanos is powerful, you just said exactly where I was going. You got to have that gauntlet. He's powerful without it. So let no one that's listening to this think that I'm saying Thanos is weak without it. No, he can beat the Avengers without it. What I'm saying is that through these movies, they've shown us time and time again in the galaxy, in the MCU, there are extremely powerful people out there. Extremely powerful people. So now you've got Aisha creating Adam at the end of Guardians 2. Extremely powerful being. He's still out there. And they're saying he is not part of these 2 movies, is what they said. Now, I don't know if I believe them on that or not. But what I'm saying is they have left so much out there that can come to fruition. So let's talk about, I know we elaborate and I'm getting long, but I got to do it. You want to talk about the deals that they could strike? They could bring Galactus, but I'm going to tell you now, Galactus isn't as interesting as people want to make him out to be, because Galactus, the most interesting thing about Galactus is the Silver Surfer.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
His hero. That's the most interesting thing about him. You want to have villains that the people can interact with. Now, I can hit the nail on the head. When you do the Skrull invasion and you see that they're doing Captain Marvel, in the 90s, and they're going to talk about the Skrulls, and then that whole empire exists. You got the Kree-Skrull War. The Kree exist. They put the Kree in the first Guardians. So you have that side of it. You have several space-dwelling people that Marvel has the rights to that they could bring on home, because nobody thought Ego Living Planet was going to show up anywhere, and look at what they did with that. So Marvel has too many characters. I got the Marvel Encyclopedia. I got 2 of them sitting right here. They got entirely too many characters for me to count them out. But to play devil's advocate, let's move forward and talk about what Jeremy was saying. Hey, is the love affair going to be over? We're going to be at a fever pitch by the time these Infinity War movies finish up. And my thing is, I don't know if they're going to have anything that's going to eclipse those 2 movies. So I'm not saying it's going to be over with or it's going to die out because the movies make too much money. But again, a 10 to 12-year build-up to Thanos, that's pretty hard to beat, man. Pretty hard to beat.
Right.
And you can't really go back after that. You can't really go back. Like, at this point now, if I'm seeing these intergalactic people show up or whatever, you show me an origin story, I'm going to fall asleep at that point. You know? Nobody wants to go back and watch somebody get their powers on Earth when I just seen Thanos come through here and throw a moon at somebody with a gun. So they got their work cut out for them, but I wouldn't count them out.
So, yeah, I wanted to say again, Malcolm, what's the gentleman's name that asked the question?
Paul.
Fantastic question. Appreciate you, kind of proposing that. I wanted to say that we need to keep an eye on Star Wars as well because it might be that same property that could potentially overstay its welcome a little bit further down the road. So we'll just be keeping an eye out on both those things.
Yep, absolutely.
Most definitely. So let's go ahead and jump into our main topic of the day, and it is Netflix originals. We have recently seen the plethora of Netflix movies that are coming out only on Netflix, and they are some of the most amazing movies and hilarious movies and all type of different movies that I've seen. Just recently you got Message to the King, which I haven't had a chance to watch yet. You got a great movie, What Happened to Monday. If you guys haven't seen What Happened to Monday, please go check it out. Once you watch it, go to the channel and watch the spoilers review of What Happened to Monday. And the hilarious Marlon Wayans comedy, Naked, which was hilarious as well. And we've seen the mega contract that Adam Sandler signed with Netflix for all of his movies coming on the channel, coming on the streaming service. And it seems like the Netflix originals are taking over. Now, there are probably hundreds of Netflix originals out there, but those are the ones that come across my radar. And most people have the originals that they want to watch. Netflix is making a home for directors and actors who want to get their movies out. They're giving them a home. Because I'm going to be honest with you. What Happened to Monday, to me, would have done great in theaters. Naked would have never I would have not paid money to go see it in the theaters. But I'll watch it at home in the living room with a bowl of popcorn. Sure. That's the type of movie it was. It was an evening popcorn movie. But play anywhere between $5 to $9.99 for a ticket to go see Naked theaters? No. Just be up front with it. Love Marlon Wayans best, love the Wayans brothers, but that wasn't a movie theater movie. It was right where it's supposed to be. And we're just talking about Netflix today, but there are other streaming services that are doing the same thing, Amazon Prime and Hulu. But we're just focused on Netflix, the Netflix originals. I'm loving what Netflix is bringing to the table. They're bringing out some great ideas, not just the movies, but cartoons. One of my favorite Netflix original cartoons was two of them, Voltron Legendary Defender, and my man Kevin put me on this show, and I haven't been able to get off since, Troll Hunters. When those Troll Hunter Funko Pops coming out, I'm heading for them. So stores need to hide the shelves, and I'm coming for them. But I'm going to let Jeremy start off with this. Jeremy, what do you think about the plethora of Netflix originals and how Netflix is making a home for those who want to get movies out? And let me not forget one movie, a Martin Scorsese movie that he wanted to produce. And if I'm not mistaken, it has some of the greats in it, De Niro, and I think I'm missing the other two. Nobody wanted to pick it up, but it's coming to Netflix. So, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on this?
Man, first of all, you guys bring me on this show to be honest. You know that, I'm not always going to give the popular opinion. And Malcolm, you know you're my friend. You know I love you. But do not ever start a story with Netflix is making great content and then start talking about Adam Sandler movies. What are you doing?
Hey, Sandy Wexler was hilarious, but it was not for the movie theater.
Yeah, man, I'm lying. Early Sandler stuff I love, but I just had to bust your chops about that one. It's like if you take two pieces of Sunbeam bread, you know what I mean? Like these really good pieces of bread, you put a little bit of mayonnaise on both sides of them, lettuce and tomato on one side, and then you just drop a big turd patty on the other side. That's my sandwich metaphor for the week.
Yeah, we had a sandwich metaphor in a minute, so Jerry was bringing it back.
I killed it with that one too.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to hot dogs or something now.
There have been so many things that I've loved on Netflix. I would be lying to sit here and say that I've watched the majority of their content, but some of their content has been my favorite things in the past couple of years. Obviously, for example, Stranger Things, that was a real big game changer to me. The first season of Daredevil, big game changer to me. I thought both Jessica Jones and Luke Cage were strong. Loved the first half of Luke Cage. It kind of fell off on me after that. Jessica Jones was just all right through the whole thing. We know what happened with Iron Fist, and I haven't watched Defenders yet, but those are all TV shows. I think there's an interesting thing going on, Malcolm, that you addressed about the Martin Scorsese. He's actually going to be directing this one. It's called The Irishman. It's got Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, freaking who's the other one? Harvey Keitel. It has got the murderer's row or the thieves row of the greatest Italian mafia movie stars of all time. I love that cast. The thing that I've heard people allude to is that a lot of times it's possible that Scorsese shopped that movie around 10 studios. However, because his last kind of pseudo-religious movie with Andrew Garfield and whoever else was in it kind of bombed. I think it was called Silence. But because that movie kind of bombed, maybe other studios were apprehensive about picking up his work. So, you go to Paramount or you go to Fox or you go to any of these different studios, and they're just like, yeah, we're not really interested in buying it. We don't think we're going to yield the returns off of it after your last movie. Well, then you go to Netflix and you say, hey, I've got this movie, and they're like, crap, that's Martin Scorsese, or like, Brad Pitt with War Horse or whatever. It's like they've got these big-named, really talented filmmakers and actors, A-listers, all the way around. But it feels like, and I worry about the fact that that Netflix is getting to be that place that gets what the other people don't necessarily want or may potentially pass on. I don't want to think that's true because we've talked about Martin Scorsese several times on this podcast, and he's great. He is getting a little bit up there in age, and one of the most troubling things about The Irishman to me is the de-aging technology thing. They're trying to make all of those actors that we were just talking about look like young men back in the 70s and 80s, and there's no telling how that's going to end up. So, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I did read just recently that they're going to be just fine. Like, everybody was very worried about Netflix a couple weeks ago because the amount of debt that they were in and because Disney was planning on pulling out. But that is just it's pennies on the dollar compared to what this juggernaut of a business is actually doing. So I think it's going to go that way. I think people are going to get sick of going to movie theaters eventually. Not us, we all love that stuff. We live for it. But I think eventually families are going to get sick of it, and Netflix is going to be there to fill that need. And so we're going to get stronger and stronger and better content. And, and eventually I think Netflix is going to be one of the premium ways to consume content. So we're at a weird transitional period right now, guys, and we're kind of all on this ride together, which is pretty cool,
Yep.
Kevin, what's your thoughts?
So the Netflix shows for years now, their original programming has been top-notch. And we all know that, they've had hits in different genres, whether it's, been Stranger Things or some of their earlier stuff that they had or whatnot. But I think what Malcolm has been kind of experiencing here, what we all have, is kind of like the movies are kind of catching up to the quality of the TV shows.
Yeah,
I agree. At this point right now, TV in general, not just Netflix, but TV shows in general are able to attract huge actors because that whole, if you're a TV actress, you do TV. If you're a movie actress, you do movies. That whole wall is gone now. And people just want to work and be a part of good projects, which is why they just got Sigourney Weaver to do a Marvel TV show, if you will. You know? So when Martin Scorsese was shopping that movie around and nobody wanted it, it's not because the movie's trash or it's horrible or Netflix is getting like somebody's sloppy seconds. It's because movie studios only have so many movies and so many slots they can put out now. And right now, nobody's talking about the Grapes of Wrath or even the flop that King Arthur movie was. Everybody wants to know what the hell Thanos is going to be doing, who's Ray's father, and how is Wonder Woman going to tie in the Justice League. That's what people are talking about. Nobody gives a shit about that other stuff right now. Hey, you know, you talk about Scorsese and that movie Silence or whatever. Hell, that thing was the talk of the Oscars. It got nominated, right? Nobody gives a shit because they're trying to make money. Excuse my French, Mac. I'm sorry, I forgot what show I was on. Anyway, you can bleep it out. So you have to look at that and say, okay, wow. So then now Netflix and some of these other streaming services have opened up a completely different lane now to say, hey, you know what? You want to make that? Come over here. And guess what? We're going to give you a Will Smith, you know, $100 million movie here coming up pretty soon, and we're going to show you what we can really do. And it's for a family of 4 in today's day and age. It costs probably about $50 or $60 in the South to go to the movies. I know for a fact, movie tickets out here where I live are $15.
Wait a minute, what movie they going to? First of all, what movie tickets they going to the South? It only costs me, let's see, $4 and $4, that's $8 plus 39 cents, that's $60.
I cannot believe that, Malcolm. You do not know how good you got it, bro.
You don't know how good you got it, bro.
Crazy.
If I go on a Sunday before 3 o'clock, or if I go on the daytime before 3 o'clock, I can see the movie for $4.39.
So kids have school and people go to church in the South. So
we go on Saturday.
And you go into school.
We get out of church at 12 o'clock.
This is my point. Nobody going to the movies on Sunday. You know that. My point is this. A family of 4, it costs them about $50 to go to the movies, right? So when you look at that and you say it's $50, or I can spend $10, you know, or $50 on Netflix and have entertainment for the next 5 months, and everybody in here got something to watch, it's a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. And like I said, that's $50 in the South. Out here where I'm at, movie tickets are $15 a piece.
Right.
So, and that's what go to New York, go to Chicago, go to some of these other places, these epicenters where people live at, where the movies make a lot of money. And you'll see that it's expensive. So when you got these people and they say, hey, you know what? I'll take part of my entertainment budget and give it to Netflix and we'll find something else to do and we'll get the kids to watch this show and they can do this and that. Man, it's amazing. It's hard to compete with that. That's why Disney's doing it. I wanted to say this before when we talked about these things. Major corporations don't innovate anything new, okay? Every major corporation, from Disney to any movie house to anybody, nobody innovates. They buy things. So whoever came up with Netflix and they had this innovative idea, okay, that was the innovation right there. Now everybody's following suit, and they're just setting up the same company. When Nirvana came out, okay, that whole Seattle grunge rock thing that was going on, record labels didn't cultivate that. That was the music that was cultivated by the people, right? So what record labels did was once those guys got signed, they went and signed a bunch of other groups that sounded like them. But nobody, a major record label, cultivated that sound. It's the same thing here. Quentin Tarantino in the early 90s, doing his thing or whatever. Movies, he borrowed from several other movies, and he'll tell you that, so there's no secret there. But movies weren't being made that way. So what did they do? You got a bunch of Quentin Tarantino knockoffs that came out, after Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. Let's just be gritty for the sake of being gritty. Nobody cultivated that. It's the same thing with the streaming service. Disney didn't cultivate this to come up with it first. They see how it's working. They're just going to buy their own set of stuff and just make their own. So that's how you know. And I brought it up because we talked about before, how are they making money and what are they doing? I still don't really know other than subscriptions because there's no advertisers on this Netflix platform. But I can tell you that if a major company is following suit behind them, there's plenty of money to be had. So that's my take.
Yeah, that's a hot take, man. I never thought about it from that perspective, but you said it really, really well, and it makes me think about the the Marvel business model and the shared universes, and then how every other big corporation was like, we got to do that, you know?
Yep.
So, yeah, good call. Good call.
And, you know, when we look at these originals are allowing stuff that we love from the past to come back. I mean, look at Fuller House, you know, the continuation of Full House. Look at what's dropping next month, the Magic School Bus Rides Again, you know. So, you know, they're also allowing things and flashbacks from the past to come back to us once again. You know, Netflix puts out a lot of great content, a lot of great original content, and I'm just glad to be able to enjoy it. I know you guys are as well. But to those people out there that live in the South who are spending $50 when you go to the movies, husbands, buy your wife a big purse, stop at Dollar Tree before you go. Anyways, let's talk about what's going on over there at Be Terrible Productions. What we got going on over there, Jeremy?
Oh, man, it's so exciting. 3 days ago, I realized that about 25% of my videos have been demonetized. So I say we all go down there to that YouTube building and we pick it. No, I'm just kidding. But it's crazy. That's a conversation for another day. We'll have it on my podcast or whatever. But there are some strange things going on YouTube. That being said, I've been having a lot of fun working with you guys. It's been a lot of fun creating those Movie Monsters videos. That's been something I'm staying on top of, working out a few kinks so that I can consistently have the same schedule every week. It's taken a little bit of tweaking and just trying to see how much of it I can balance. But, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. You guys make sure to check me out at Be Terrible Movies on YouTube as well as Facebook. And then I'm just Jeremy Be Terrible on Twitter and Instagram.
And my man Kevin Gaulson, what's going on over there at Hubster Photography?
Hey, man, we just got a lot of dope photo shoot planned. I got contacted last night. You know, I got an Agent Carter shoot coming up that is just phenomenal. What we're doing with this next one's going to be great. So I'm just kind of focusing on my cosplayers right now and just wrapping up the summer, man, and wrapping up time season. So it should be pretty fun.
Most definitely, guys. We got a lot of stuff coming up as well. We got some conventions coming up in the area. We're going to be at QuestCon. That's October 20th, 21st, and 22nd in the great city of Mobile, Alabama. QuestCon is coming. Shout out to my man Chad and Johnny and the whole team and crew at QuestCon. They're going to be putting on an amazing event. And also Wizard World, one of the main chain conventions, is coming to Montgomery, Alabama that same exact weekend. So if you're going to attend Wizard World, go ahead and find out if you live in the Montgomery area or if you live in the Mobile area. Find out those ticket prices and attend all conventions that you can. Conventions are a great thing to do. They're fun. You're exciting. My wife went to her first convention, and she loved it. She's been talking about it ever since. So just go check out these different conventions, man, and go to the one that's in your area and have a good time. But we enjoyed you guys today hopping on this conversation. We talked about so many different things, and as you know, we're always here, whether it be Wednesday or Thursday, each and every week. We love you guys listening to Fandom Talk. Whether you're watching this on Facebook or you're watching this on YouTube, drop a comment below, hit the share button, and let's continue to spread Fandom Talk. But if you guys don't know who we are, we're Fandoms Anonymous. That's FANDOMSANONYMOUS. We're all over social media right here on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for future videos. Also, follow us over on Facebook, where we have our Facebook group where we have discussions each and every single day, and hit the like on the Facebook fan page. Don't forget, we're on Instagram, where we're at Fandoms_Anonymous17. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and or ideas, please email me at fandomsanonymous17@gmail.com. We got a new episode of the one-on-one series that dropped today from man Micah from Hype Inc., great musician and DJ and master beat maker in the Montgomery, Alabama area, and he's performed with a lot of different people, including Yellow Wolf and Hobson and all kind of different artists, Waka Flocka. He's been on their stage performing. So we talked about him, his love for music, how he got started, and that's inside of the one-on-one series playlist on the Fandoms Anonymous YouTube channel. But, guys, as I always say, if there is anything else, thanks for watching, and have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Fandoms Anonymous.